Hi, 5th grade. Today is Tuesday, October 13th. Today in class, we went over our new spelling lists, and since it is a review week, we did not highlight them. We just went through and made sure we could read all of the words and made sure we knew what all of them meant. Let's see. It's just a review of everything from the last 3 weeks, and there may even be a couple spelling patterns from even before that. So be paying attention to how those vowel sounds are spelled as you are looking through your lists. If you are not at school, I have already shared them to you, and let me know if for some reason you can't find it, or if you weren't at school today and you thought you were going to be and you won't be here tomorrow. If you need me to share it to you, just let me know. The next thing we did in class, we didn't have time to play a word wall game, but we did make sure we had all of our word wall words written in our spiral notebook. So if you want to pause me and go get a spiral, I will tell you what they are. Okay, they are, again, A-G-A-I-N, because, B-E-C-A-U-S-E, could, C-O-U-L-D, excited, E-X-C-I-T-E-D, friends, F-R-I-E-N-D-S, favorite, F-A-V-O-R-I-T-E. I'm assuming that you're pausing me to write them down after each one I say. Have, H-A-V-E, into, I-N-T-O, laugh, L-A-U-G-H, off, O-F-F, people, P-E-O-P-L-E, really, R-E-A-L-L-Y, said, S-A-I-D, they, T-H-E-Y, two, meaning the number two, T-W-O, two, meaning I ate too much. Or can I go to is T-O-O. And if I'm going to go to the beach, I'm telling you place. I'm using it as a preposition. It's just T-O. Your next word is until, U-N-T-I-L. Want, W-A-N-T. Ew, there's a fly in here. Was, W-A-S. And then we tacked on the word world because it sounds like it should be E-R, but it's O-R. So that word is W-O-R-L-D. So we did not have time to play a game though, new spelling. And then we did finish reading The Secret Garden. But before we started reading, we went through and did a summary of what we'd read so far. And we used this technique. Somebody wanted, oops, but, so, then, oopsie daisy. So all we have to do is fill in. Who's the somebody? Well, for us, we remembered it was Mary Lennox. Is that a capital L? There. What did Mary Lennox want? Mary Lennox wanted to get into the secret garden. But, oh, Lordy, typing is not so great. But what happened? But she couldn't find the door. Do you remember that? She wanted the bird to tell her. She couldn't find the door. So hopefully you remember reading this as we go through this from last week. And this is helping jog your memory about the story, the part we read so far. So Mary wanted to get into the secret garden. She couldn't find the door. Remember, she has that something heavy in her pocket. She has the key. So then what happened? So something magical. And magic. We drew a picture of it going. Wind blew the ivy away from the door. So it made it so she could see it. Then what happened? So we know Mary Lennox wanted to get into the secret garden, but she couldn't find the door. So a magic wind blew the ivy away from the door. Then, right where we were leaving last week, she unlocked Oh, I spelled that word weird. The door and opened it slowly. So this is what we use today to help remind us to summarize what we'd read so far. Then we choral read the rest of the story. I think I'm in 6th grade stuff right now. Let's see, how do I find something I want? 5th grade. And we had 2 pages left to read. So the other page, remember, it was all green, and the ivy has been blown away so she could find the door. And then you turn the page, and this is what you come across. And change it to 1-page view so my old eyes can see it if I zoom. There. So we read this together in class, so what I would like you to do right now is read out loud with me. And remember, if I go faster than you or you're not sure of a word, mumble through it. And if I'm going slower than you, just slow your pace to match mine. Then she slipped through it and shut it behind her and stood with her back against it, looking about her and breathing quite fast with excitement and wonder and delight. She was standing inside the secret garden. We talked about the fact that this word is italicized because the author wants to accentuate it. The author wants you to say this word with more meaning. She was inside the secret garden. It's where she'd been longing to be. It was the sweetest, most mysterious looking place anyone could imagine. The high walls which shut it in were covered with leafless stems of climbing roses, which were so thick that they were matted together. Remember, matted means like clumped together. So all these kind of crusty looking rose vines are leafless, but they're really thick and they've been grown together. Mary Lennox knew they were roses because she had seen a great many roses in India. All the ground was covered with grass of a wintry brown. Out of it grew clumps of bushes, which were surely rose bushes, if they were alive. There were numbers of standard roses, which had spread their branches that they were like little trees. So spread their branches that they were like little trees. So she's standing in this garden that is kind of leafless, but there's a lot of branches and intertwined like leaves and vines, but there's just nothing green on them. It's all brown. There were other trees in the garden, and one of the things which made the place look strangest and loveliest was the climbing roses that had run all over them and swung down little long tendrils which made light swaying curtains. Here and there they had caught at each other or at a far-reaching branch and had crept from one tree to another and made lovely bridges of themselves. There were neither leaves nor roses on them now, and Mary did not know whether they were dead or alive. But their thin, gray or brown branches and sprays looked like a sort of hazy mantle spreading over everything, walls and trees and even brown grass, where they had fallen from their fastenings and run along the ground. It was this hazy tangle from tree to tree which made it all look so mysterious. Mary had thought it must be different from other gardens which had not been left all by themselves so long. Indeed, it was different from any other place she had ever seen in her life. "How still it is," she whispered. "How still." Then she waited a moment and listened at the stillness. The robin who had flown to his treetop was still as all the rest. He did not even flutter his wings. He sat without stirring and looked at Mary. "No wonder it is still," she whispered again. "I am the first person who has spoken in here for 10 years. She moved away from the door, stepping as softly as if she were afraid of awakening someone. She was glad that there was grass under her feet and that her steps made no sounds. She walked under one of the fairy-like gray arches between the trees and looked up at the sprays with tendrils which formed them. "I wonder if they are all quite dead," she said. "Is it all a quite dead garden? I wish it wasn't." If she had been Ben Weatherstaff, she could have told whether the wood was alive by looking at it. But she could only see that there were only gray or brown sprays and branches, and none showed any signs of even a tiny leaf bud anywhere. But she was inside the wonderful garden, and she could come through the door under the ivy any time, and she felt as if she had found a world all her own. And that is the end of the text. So, your next task, how did I end up here? Oh, wait, it was in the right spot. 5th grade. Your next task, your assignment, is to write the next scene. And you can do this on lined paper. It should be about a page long. Or you can do this on a Google Doc and send it to me that way. It says, "In the secret garden, you read how Mary discovered a hidden, locked door and wondered what was on the other side. When she unlocked the door and saw the dead but wild-looking garden, she felt as if she had found a world all her own. Imagine what might take place next now that Mary has discovered the secret place." So you can write as if it's the next thing that day while she's in there, or you can write that it's tomorrow and she goes back in there. And you're going to write what happens next. Continue to the next scene. You need a beginning and a middle and an end. You cannot write 2 sentences and call it done. This should be, "Then the next day she walked in and she noticed blah, 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 blah. And then such and such happened. She wished she could." So you maybe create a new problem for her once she gets in there, something that she decides she wants to do but can't. And you need to make sure you have a beginning and a middle and an end. You can certainly use some of the critical vocabulary words if you like from the beginning of the text. I think I'm about ready to run out of time. Those critical vocabulary words are mysterious, tendrils, awakening, matted, and fastenings. And so your assignment, in short, is you should have written a "somebody wanted but so then," like what I shared with you. You need to have that written down somewhere to show that you did it too. And you also need to make sure that you write your spelling words in your planner and write them in cursive by Friday. Your test will be on Friday. And then last but not least, you need to write the next scene to this story. And that's all. See you at the meet today at 1 o'clock.